It's Jahji.
What is going on, my YouTubers and YouTubettes? It's Jahji here, and today we are I'm actually very excited for this video. Today we're gonna get into the most pathetic game in Red Sox and Yankees history. Now, this is going to eventually lead into a deeper series where I'm going to do everyday coverage of the Red Sox and Yankees. But before then, I figured we'd get a little intro and we do something different. You know, we've covered the 2003 Red Sox-Yankees postseason rivalries, 2004. We've seen what's happened in the years after that. The botched trade for Alex Rodriguez, where he was supposed to go to Boston, but he ended up in New York. There's a lot of history between the two teams. However, in the last few years, a lot of people have been searching for that spark between Boston and New York, and there's like a bit of a spark of something, but it's just not there the way that we yearn for it to be there. So without further ado, this is a video posted by WalkoffStudios. If you want to watch it with no commentary, I'll go ahead and link it below. Let's get into it.
If I were to ask you to mention a notable game between the New York Yankees and Boston Red Sox, there's probably 100 examples you can name without even thinking about it. For this video, however, I want to look at something different. There's one game in particular between the two clubs that was agonizing, sloppy, and downright miserable, but that's what makes it memorable nevertheless. For all the incredible things that have happened between the two clubs over the years,
Buenas noches,
this game
amigos.
is noteworthy for
Rest
what
in peace,
didn't
Jerry
happen.
Remy.
It was 22 years ago this week, on April 24th, 2004, that the Yankees hosted the Red Sox at Yankee Stadium.
I don't watch any of the videos before I react to them so that you guys can get the most genuine reactions. So when I seen the title of this video, I was thinking this was something from maybe the 70s, the 80s, just because when I think of a pathetic game, you think about a game between two pathetic teams. However, Boston and New York in 2004, I'm curious to see what game this was and the details behind it, because these two teams one is coming off of a World Series run and the other one is about to win the World Series. So these are two competitive teams. So I'm curious to see what happened.
The Yankees were coming off a World Series appearance in 2003. The team they beat in the League Championship Series to get there, the Boston Red Sox. Two World Series contenders battling it out on a Saturday afternoon in what is, of course, the biggest rivalry in MLB history. For what it's worth, the Yankees were 8-9 entering the day, while the Red Sox were 10-6.
That's a piece there. It's early on.
On the mound for New York was starter Kevin Brown. He was 3-0 with a 2.33 ERA in 4 starts entering the day. The Red Sox, however, teed off him immediately. Brown walked the first 2 batters of the game, and they stood on second and third with 1 out.
No wonder they teed off him immediately. The graphic just showed that the dude's last start was against Boston. I think it said 6 innings, 2 earned runs, something like that. When you see a pitcher, especially so close in the last week, the second time around, of course you're going to tee off on him. It's like the phenomena where the coaches nowadays don't want to let the starting pitcher get into the batting lineup the second or third time. And it's because by that third go around, they already know what you're throwing. They know what's working for you that day. They know what's not. And they know all of your patterns. So I can see exactly why Boston teed off on Kevin Brown this day.
Manny Ramirez then skied the ball out to deep center field. Bernie Williams tracked it down as Johnny Damon came home with the first run of the game. Boston would fail to drive home the runner on second, and the score stood 1-0 as the Yankees came to bat. On the mound for the Red Sox was Bronson Arroyo. Through 3 games,
Monday
he
versus
was
New York.
0-1 with a 7.11 ERA. He started off well though, throwing a scoreless frame. That included a ground out to the pitcher off the bat of Alex Rodriguez. It's the only instance I can think of where A-Rod hit a ground ball to Arroyo at Yankee Stadium. Can't think of any other times. In the top of the second, the Red Sox added to their lead.
Funny enough, I actually thought that was that moment for a quick second, and I was like, oh, maybe this is why he's covering.
Thanks to a string of gaffes. Kevin Millar led off the inning. He hit a
For reference, I'm sorry for pausing so much, but for reference, they're talking about when Bronson Arroyo went to go cover first base, A-Rod was running up the line, and A-Rod slapped the baseball out of Bronson Arroyo's hand. I believe it was actually later on this series. Later on in the 2004 season, if I'm not mistaken, or the year prior, one of those 2 years.
Hopper back to the mound. Kevin Brown knocked the ball down, recovered, then threw it away, landing in the stands. It was ruled a single and an error on Brown as Millar advanced to second base. 2 pitches later, Mark Bellhorn grounded the ball to first. Travis Lee flipped the ball to the pitcher covering, but Brown dropped it, allowing Bellhorn to reach. To add to the fire, Brown hit the next batter, Gabe Kapler, to load the bases with nobody out. You could tell this was going to be one of those days. Following the hit by pitch, Pokey Reese matched Manny Ramirez by hitting a sacrifice fly to center field. Kevin Millar scored to make
Reese
it
is
a
a name you would hear in
2-0
the
game.
40s.
With a chance to add to their lead, Boston comes up short. Brown induced a fly out and a ground out to strand 2 runners. That, however, would not be the last time he worked around trouble. In the top of the third, Brown coughed up a double and a walk, but got bailed out by his defense. Alex Rodriguez made a tremendous diving stop to rob Kevin Millar of a double, saving at least 1, if not 2 runs. With 2 in scoring position, Mark Bellhorn drove the ball out to dead center.
I feel like looking at that diving play from A-Rod, people forget just how good of a defender he was. Yes, we talk about his home runs, his hits, and then obviously the PEDs, but this dude was an elite defender. And I feel like if it wasn't for Jeter's ego, the ego that was hidden for so many years, and I feel like it's just been over the past few years where people are getting to kind of see the real Derek Jeter. But anyways, if it wasn't for his ego, A-Rod would have been an amazing shortstop over his entire career, up until obviously the hip surgeries, and he probably hits 33 and moves to another position anyways.
Field, but Bernie Williams was there to make the catch. Boston fails to capitalize once again. Arroyo threw another hitless frame in the bottom of the third, as did Brown in the top of the fourth. Still 2-0 entering the bottom half. In the bottom of the fourth, the Yankees finally got to Arroyo. Alex Rodriguez blasted a solo home run out the deep left field to cut the lead to 1. Fun fact, that was the first home run A-Rod hit at Yankee Stadium as a member of the Yankees. Following this inning, the Red Sox threatened again. Bill Miller led off with a double for Boston. David Ortiz then flew out to deep right field, advancing Miller 1 base. Runner on third with 1 out. Manny Ramirez was at bat now. He grounded the ball back to the mound. Miller holds at third as Ramirez is retired. With 2 outs, Jason Varitek followed Ramirez, but he also failed to drive home the runner as he flew out to center field. By this point, you can probably see what's going on. The Red Sox aren't just stranding runners, they're stranding runners in scoring position seemingly every at-bat. In the first inning, they had 3 plate appearances with a runner in scoring position and went 0 for 2 with a sac fly. In the second, they went 0 for 3 with a hit by pitch and sac fly as well. In the third, 0 for 3 with a walk, and finally, here in the fifth, 0 for 3 yet again. Through 5 innings, Boston was 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position and hitless in 15 plate appearances with a runner on second or third.
Halfway through the game, and my analysis on it is it's not a sloppy game due to defense, due to bad pitching. Clearly, it's 2-1 up at top of the fifth. I think it was just that everybody was getting a shit ton of hits. You get what I mean? Boston was 0 for 11 with men in scoring position, and the Yankees got a number of hits as well, and they weren't able to come through with the big one. So I think this was just one of those sloppy ones because it was just a bunch of scattered hits everywhere.
It couldn't get any worse, right? Just wait to see what happens. Still 2-1 in the seventh, the Red Sox put 2 runners on, but 1 strikeout and 1 ground out later, the inning ended without a run scoring. 0 for 13 now. That would also be it for Kevin Brown. His final line, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 4 walks, and 1 strikeout. As for Bronson Arroyo, he was still in the game, but not for long. He allowed 3 consecutive singles to start the 7th, the latter of which being off the bat of Gary Sheffield to drive home Alex Rodriguez as the tying run. That would be Arroyo's final batter of the afternoon. In to replace him from the bullpen was Scott Williamson. Williamson's first batter, Jorge Posada, ground out to first on the putout. Both runners move up 1 base. With first base open, the Red Sox opt to
Ooh, I missed
intentionally
this.
walk Travis Lee to load the bases. Bernie Williams came to
Like I've stated in previous videos, I'm a guy who's big on details, and I missed something as simple as the 4-pitch intentional walk. There was just something about it that just feels baseball. Obviously, probably because it was the original rule and it's what I'm used to, but I remember watching clips on YouTube when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old and getting into baseball, and there was this one infamous instance. I think it was Miguel Cabrera, bases loaded. He was still playing for Miami, Florida Marlins at the time, and they were going to intentional walk him, and the dude just poked the bat out, boop, base hit. Like stuff like that doesn't happen in the game anymore is beautiful. It's I'm not gonna say is the reason why you watch baseball and you get into the sport, because we all love dingers. The chicks dig the long ball, but it's little things that makes you think, beautiful baseball,
bat now with the bases loaded and 1 out. Here is what he did. At least Boston's defense has made up for their lack of hitting.
Ortiz
2-2
playing
ball
first is
game
crazy.
heading to the 8th. By the way, Bronson Arroyo's final line was as such: 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Both teams went down 1-2-3 in the 8th inning before Boston set up a rally in the 9th. Gabe Kapler led off with a walk and advanced to second base on a sacrifice bunt by Pokey Reese. Another runner reaches scoring position. What else is new, though, as the Red Sox failed to drive him home? Johnny Damon grounded out, then Bill Miller popped out to short to end the inning. 0 for 15 now. The Yankees put 2 runners on base in the bottom of the 9th, but Alan Embry induced a ground out to escape the jam. This pathetic offensive show was heading to extra innings. In the top of the 10th, Boston put a runner on second base with 2 outs, but Kevin Millar popped out in foul territory to the catcher to end the inning.
Damn, Posada looked like he threw he threw his mask straight at Millar. It's the small things about the rivalry that's just it's little bits of competitiveness that you just don't see nowadays. Even that bit of aggression is everything.
0 for 16. In the bottom half, New York loaded the bases with 2 outs, but pinch hitter Ruben Sierra grounded out. For those wondering,
Ortiz
the
with the
Yankees were
play.
1 for 7 with runners in scoring position at this point. In the 11th, 2 walks and a hit by pitch loaded the bases with 1 out. With Mariano Rivera on the mound, Bill Miller stepped to the plate. With a chance to break through, Miller popped out to shortstop Derek Jeter for the second time this game. 0 for 17 with runners in scoring position. Following Miller was David Ortiz.
Millar.
In this Mariano Rivera versus David Ortiz showdown, Rivera wins the battle, striking him out to end the inning. 0 for 18. In the top of the 12th, the Red Sox finally did something. Paul Quantrill came in to pitch, and his first assignment was to face Manny Ramirez.
Related to Cal.
Ramirez drilled the ball out to deep right center field, hitting it off the bottom of the wall. Manny pulled into second with a leadoff double, giving Boston yet another runner in scoring position. The first at bat with Ramirez on second, a ground out to second base off the bat of Jason Varitek. Make it 0 for 19 as Ramirez moves to third. The next batter, Kevin Millar, was then hit by a pitch,
We got
hitting runners on the corners with 1 out. Coming to the plate here was Mark Bellhorn. Bellhorn lifted the Quantrill pitch out to center field. Williams ran it down, and in to score was Ramirez on the sac fly to go ahead 3-2. The first Boston run scored in 10 innings. Following the sac fly, Gabe Kapler grounded out to end the inning. Boston was 3 outs away from winning the game. Mike Timlin was the new pitcher for the Red Sox, and he was perfect here. He struck out 2 batters and induced a ground out from Derek Jeter for the third and final out. The box score might say the Red Sox won this game 3-2 in 12 innings, but think about what went down here. Boston went 0 for 19 with runners in scoring position, 0 for 23 with runners on base, and went hitless in 26 plate appearances with runners in scoring position. In those 26 appearances, the team recorded 21 outs, 3 of which being sacrifice flies, 2 walks, 2 hit by pitches, and 1 error. Perhaps the most alarming stat, in spite of going 0 for 19 with runners in scoring position, the Red Sox only had 39 total at-bats all game. I would like to repeat that last part because it sounds vaguely important. In practically half of Boston's at-bats this game, they had a runner in scoring position and failed to get even 1 hit. That should honestly be impossible. A team had that many opportunities to get a hit, but somehow didn't. According to one source, only once in the past 30 years at that point did a team go 0 for 19 or worse in a game with runners in scoring position. I have no idea if it's happened.
I don't know when this video was made, but you haven't seen any recent Boston Red Sox games from the 2026 season. This offense is putrid.
Since, but would love to know. Nearly a quarter century ago, the Red Sox and Yankees played one of their most forgotten, and dare I say, one of their worst games ever. The time Boston pulled off the weirdest and messiest victory ever.
So there you go. That was the most pathetic game in Red Sox-Yankee history by Walkoff-Studios. Going into it, I thought it was going to be a slugfest. I thought Kevin Brown was going to give up 7 runs. I thought Arroyo was going to give up 8. And I thought that this game was going to be filled with a bunch of errors. I mean, each team made a couple of errors, but I feel like the star of the show was the fact that Boston wasn't able to score. Story of our lives. If you watch Red Sox games from the last 5 years, this is something that has become a reoccurring trend. So it's nothing new from the perspective of somebody who follows Boston. This was very interesting to see early on in the 2004 season. Both teams are juggernauts at the time and they have immense potential. Boston hadn't yet made their change, I believe, trading Nomar Garcia-Parra. New York did make their big acquisition of Alex Rodriguez by this time. So the teams were pretty much there from the 2004 postseason. But it was an interesting dive back into a game that probably isn't spoken about at all. We're used to covering all these postseason games from 2004, 2003, the 90s, and it's a breath of fresh air to see a different Red Sox-Yankees game, one that you haven't heard of. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching, guys. It's Jahji here. Make sure you hit the notification bells to get notified when we drop a new video. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and you share with a friend and have that friend share with a friend to stay up to date on any new reactions, WWE clips, and the Red Sox-Yankees rivalry daily coverage. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time, and everybody have a great rest of your day. Jahji, out.
Thanks for watching. Let me know what you'd like to watch next.